What's up, guys? Josh Moroz here. I got my buddy Jerry Leal here. Jerry, before we get into the podcast, I want you to talk a little bit about yourself. Give people a little bit of background of what you do, and then we're going to go right into the sponsors. So talk a little about what you do, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easier way to answer is what I'm doing now. I think I've done a lot of things. I was a teacher, a coach. I did concert productions. I think I was a athletic director at a country club as well. I did a lot of things, right? Right now, more professionally, doing food trucks, right? So we do food truck consulting. We own a couple of food trucks. I like to say we because we use that word a lot as a team. It's a we. So we're all equals, or at least we push it that way because it's an attitude, right? And it gets everybody to just be more compassionate and it's good for the morale. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do right now. Work on a food truck. We work on building up people to be food truck owners through either leasing or through selling them a food truck, consulting them on how to get permitting, all that good stuff. We also work with city entities to do the same, to help them get their ordinances organized with what works with them environmentally. So, yeah.
Nice,
that's what we're up to.
So with that being said, we'll be right back. Let's thank our sponsors.
Hey guys, I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually start solar with nothing up front, nothing down. My name's Johnny Garza. I'm with the McAllen Valley Roofing and Solar LLC. I'm the acting solar specialist here, and I'm here to make you aware of the incentives that we have. To give you an example, I had a customer come in and they wanted a roof. The roof was going to cost $12,000 to $14,000. And I offered them the choice of going solar. They said they were thinking about it, they just didn't know how to go about it. Said simply just give me your light bill and I'll go off of the usage that you've been using already in your home so I can make the system big enough to sustain your home. I also told them that I can include the roof. They wouldn't have to give me anything down. They can keep the money in the bank and I could finance it all together. Payment was literally the same or a little bit more than what they were paying for light. We have a 30-year warranty on the system and the marksmanship of the installation. So the sustainability of the system, if anything happens, for example, if we go on the roof and we damage a roof, our warranty covers that repair. So just call the number down below and Dana will answer and take care of you just like family.
You know what's interesting about before we go into it, and the reason I had asked you to come on is because I wanted you to share very specific tactical advice because in your area of expertise, you are the food truck king.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think you told me yesterday you have like over 20 food trucks already within your thing. So before we get into the actual tactics of this, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors and we'll be right back. All right, guys. So back with Jerry Leal. So Jerry, I want to get straight into the tactical information. I was telling you yesterday that I watched Gary Vee, his 4Ds, and it was one of the most insightful things for me because he was sitting in the meetings with these big, huge agencies, these big, huge companies, giving tactical advice.
Yeah, so
that's what I want.
I guess I wandered off. Well, not wandered off topic, but kind of give a little bit of the character part of things. And then, long story short, I saw these things and I just saw that everything was attainable, right? Yeah. You got to have that go-getter thing, not just as a mindset, but as something that you find a way to apply. Whether you find satisfaction in mowing a lawn or something, you have to give yourself time and putting yourself out there to try to find yourself. Yeah. A lot of people say, well, you don't need to go to school to achieve certain types of success in life. I agree. Some people didn't have to, but that's not something to go and promote. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because after the fact, it's like someone saying, well, you don't need money. Well, it's not their worries anymore. So they'll say that after the fact, right? with school, it's like I said, it's a mindset, and anything you do, right? Whether it's take a walk and stuff, finding purpose. For me, I didn't necessarily go out and apply what I got formal education with, but what school taught me was that I had to push myself to tackle a task that I didn't like, I didn't understand, but I had to get it done. And if I didn't like it enough, why not do it fast and get it out of the way, right?
True, yeah.
The end goal is to get a degree, right?
Yeah.
So it's just about disconnecting from, I'd say, social distractions, right? You know, what you see, you know, too much internet is not good, right?
Yeah.
You know, just portion your servings of Gary Vee sometimes, because you know you don't want
At one point, it's too much information.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you don't do anything with it, then it's pointless.
Yeah, and you want to be the first, you know, the first you. You don't want to be like anybody else. Influence from them is fine. I like to use that word. I see what some of the better people are doing around in my industry, in the food industry, and I'm like, I want to be like them. And one thing they all have in common is they think they're the best. Yeah. So if you don't think you're the best, what are you really doing? Yeah. Am I? Who knows? In my head, I have to think that way, right?
Have to, yeah.
It's what motivates me to do things outside of my comfort zone, right? To keep testing myself and stuff like that. So one thing is just, you know, daily affirmations in the morning. Be thankful at night. You know, there's so many things that have gone wrong in the world that a lot of us didn't really, you know, everybody suffered in some way, and some people prospered.
Coronavirus,
yeah. I mean, right? So it's kind of like everybody almost had a hard reset. So going through that's something a lot of us should be able to use to support ourselves during tough times. Because how much tougher can it get, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'd say don't go through something and be like, well, I just lost money and this was terrible. No. Emotionally, what did you take to keep building this structure of an emotional brick wall that's going to help you in the near future every time you're encountering? Because achieving goals is about overcoming an obstacle. You're not going to achieve anything without challenge. Yeah. It is what it is. Challenge is opportunity in disguise. It's an attitude. We don't always win, but every time we don't win, we find a way to not lose, right? And it's about using that and cross-referencing it or being able to reference it, every time you're going through a moment or when you're planning an idea, take note of the last attempt. And a lot of people, they might be distracted during a given moment. You know, like I used to be in the concert industry, and sometimes it would go great. Most of the times it wouldn't. But one thing that was great was the networking. We always found a way to talk to someone, network. Hey man, you know what? What can we do later? You know what I'm saying? So there was always upside because of the mindset that our group had. You know what I'm saying? How can we extend and just be taken serious, right? Yeah. And then from there, you ventured into something that you were passionate of as you get older. You know, your ideas change, the things that inspire you change. Your
mentality changes.
Everything changes. Way, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's more of when I came to notice and understand the character that I had to be when I was in certain careers or certain environments. Very few people got to know me. So when I would hear someone saying, or when I would hear rumors, I'd be like, well, that's creative because I don't give many people the time to know me, you know? So it's like, you know,
if they have an opinion of it.
That's a cool story. I mean, I don't worry, you know, we keep working and I'm worried about the guy that's showing up to work earlier than I am or staying up later. That's the guy who really wants it. You know what I'm saying? The guy investing in listening to podcasts, reading on personal development. That's the guy that I'm like, what's he up to? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And there's guys out there.
Yeah. There's definitely, there's very far and few in between. Because I've noticed like every time I put something about writing your goals down and achieving some type of goals throughout the year, I kind of get laughed at. And I use that as a roadmap to see how I'm going to do that year. I look back at all the things that I wanted to do because with this digital world we live in, you can literally be anything you want to be now. Yeah. It's crazy because the internet has shrunk the world. Yep. It's crazy. I love it, dude.
Yeah. You just have to have the emotional discipline and not get sucked in with the gas. You know, with the wind, with that character that you have to push. You know, there's the fake it till you make it there. Yeah. You can create it, but you have to sustain it. And that's something people don't talk about. You know, there's a quote that goes, it's not who you know, or what is it? It's not what you know, it's who you know. I think it goes a little further on. They cut it short. It's and what you bring to the table. Yeah, you have to be competent. I mean, I'm cool. We're great. Yeah. But if I'm working on a structure here and you're looking for a job and I'm looking for some applied knowledge, what are we really doing, right?
Yeah.
And see, that's somebody didn't tell us the story the whole way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like the people like to work with people they know, like, and trust, but you also have to be competent.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. And see, in the industry that I'm in now, I mean, we work with a ton of partners, and you know, one of the first things that we talk about is we're not here to make friends. We're here to make money. We're here to create wealth for our family, or at least give it our best shot at doing that. You know what I'm saying? And it's an attitude, because it has to start somewhere. And I tell our group, look at the hard times we're going through right now. Our kids are babies. They don't understand the tough days, right? Do you want your kids to go through this? And the answer is always no. So I said, let's nip it in the bud, follow my lead, and we got this. And I mean, I love my team tremendously. They've trusted me through, obviously, right? Through the obvious.
Through the
and everything went well. I mean, because it was, the hardest thing was just reinforcing the mindset, right? Reminding them and just staying on top of them, sending them texts, keeping the eye on the prize, even though we didn't know that, you know, the future wasn't sure. Yeah. But I mean, our attitude was, like I said, we have we have the capacity to control that. Yeah. You know, the way we react to everything. This is a perfect test, and it was a showing of character for a lot of people. We saw a lot of people's true character. We learned a lot about ourselves. And, you know, we worked hard. And then when things were getting better, you know, our work showed to work for us, right? And it was great, but we didn't lay off the pedal. We created new goals. We set new achievement ladders, and we're going to keep climbing. So,
yeah, I think one of the most heart-wrenching thing for me was when I was going through the whole pandemic, I was seeing all these small businesses suffer. Yeah. Like tons of them, they either closed down, and half of them aren't even around anymore. It's like, I think I heard somebody talk about go support your local restaurants, because when this pandemic is over, they're probably not going to be here anymore. Mm-hmm. How did you get through that whole thing?
I mean, I reminded our team that it wasn't anybody's responsibility to come and support us. We had to go and remind you that we had a service, and we were just hopeful that there was enough people who needed it. We pivoted in a different direction. Instead of, you know, selling our hot food to go, we were serving whole veggies and stuff like that. I mean, that was one outlet that our food truck umbrella, I guess, maintained its branding with. You know what I'm saying? There's work out there, some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? You had people finding sanitation outlets to help distribute here. There's always work. It's just about staying focused, sometimes staying off your phone, and keeping around a good group of people. You know what I'm saying? When I drive, I'm either on the phone catching up on business calls, or I'm listening to podcasts. I'm not all the time into it, but it playing in the background in my head mathematically does something for me, right? It's just information going into my ears, whether or not I'm listening. Yeah. I'm just surrounding my environment. I'm putting my environment. I'm controlling that.
You're controlling it,
and it's proven to work. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that would excite me when I was younger don't. Certain things that would get my attention don't. Different things do. And you know, for the most part, I've learned to just trust and just delegating the workload and just trusting people to do their jobs just like they trust me to do mine. And you know, it's worked out, but it's just reminding yourself or finding ways to set reminders, whether it be through an alarm, a bracelet. I mean, for me, it's like I said, I drive a work truck. Just
looking at it right now.
Yeah, so we call it the pirate of the Gulf. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was out there in South Padre and SpaceX for a while, so it's taken its beatings out there in the sand dust. Yeah, that's what I like to do when I feel that I need a kick. Yeah, right. That reminder. Yeah. Like. It's good, you know, because before I had to stick in that truck, or I had to budget myself. Now I choose to, right? And
there's a complete difference with that.
Yeah, and it's a discipline and who you're around. You know what I'm saying? We trained our team to the mindset that when we celebrate, it's an achievement. What do we do to earn our way here? And how's our business paying for this good time? Yeah, you know, we're not running credit cards to buy food. You shouldn't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? You should be out there. I mean, just trying your best to make wise decisions. Circumstance in life happens. We understand that, but you can't be, behind on payments and then be out
catching up,
trying to drink it off and stuff like that. You're having problems, so you're gonna go to a bar and stuff like that. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes and I learned the hard way, right? So I'm glad I can go and talk about like, hey, you know what? Stay away from this, because it's just life coaching from, I feel, someone that went through just so much life, right? And I mean, there's always somebody doing a lot more things, probably more interesting. But in my mind, I mean, I'm pretty surprised that I look at my resume and I'm like, wow, it's a spider web. But, I met a lot of great people, made a lot of friends, learned a lot of things. And, I feel that ultimately the perfect canvas for me now is a food truck, when it comes down to the fabrication, the inside, I just get lost in it. You know what I'm saying? I love putting it together, talking about the specs of the material, of the appliances, the potential that it has, evacuation plans in case it doesn't work out. Everything's exciting because we understand it, right?
Right.
So we set our own map, right? And we let the direction be dictated by the people. Yeah. Right. But the map is there. We see it full circle, and then we just hope it snowballs the positive way. Right.
Yeah.
So
I think people skills is probably one of the most important skills any entrepreneur or any business person can possess, because that has opened up so many doors for me. And the interesting part is that I talk to so many people, but 3-4 years down the line is maybe when that relationship pays off. What do you feel about people skills?
Extremely important. You can't be scared of getting a no. And that's what I learned, I guess a little bit late in life, right? But thankfully, I've had some family and friends that I don't want to say forcefully, but I set up to put them in a working environment where they have to be extremely social, and they break out of it, because once you get it out, now you can't be unsocial, right? You can't be in a line without saying, well, heck, man, that's what a line. You know what I'm saying? and it's the same thing. It's just something, the trained behavior, right? And no one was around to coach it to me, but I knew well enough to know that it was what I lacked early on to get certain places faster, right? Yeah. And like I said, it's worked great, at least with our team. The best, when we send them for training, we send them what we call the Navy SEALs of food trucking, which is at the island. So we send them out there to be ninjas. You got to talk, because you have an international crowd that comes up to you, and, sometimes they're speaking a language called intoxication. So, you gotta plug into that character. You know what I'm saying? And, it's therapeutic. It feels good. It's a role that I've grown to love real quick. It's taken care of me. It's taught me how to teach others to be independent. And there's always other things you can do. I'm not gonna say, come do this.
Right.
But if you feel this is for you, don't be scared to ask, what can I do?
Yeah, you're right, man. Because there's so many opportunities that are out there. If you just ask that one question, it could possibly.
And I had nobody that helped. I mean, okay, I take that back. I had the health director, which it's like the main wizard, the main man. I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to the environment and just public health. That's what I mean. Mr. Balovino's the health director at the island. Very, 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 very knowledgeable man. He knows the island. He's been there many, many years, and very passionate about what he does. And he understood my passion for customer service. So he helped me do things right. And it wasn't hard. It was difficult because I lacked the understanding and the experience, right? Yeah. After the fact, now, after everything, it's just basic due process. But at the time I was like, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
No. And he told me, people skills are how you're going to make it here, because of the island. It's just another level of service. And you got to keep up, or if not, people will let you know. So it's a different discipline, and I embraced it, and I wasn't scared of knocking on his door to ask for feedback.
Yeah.
And it was rarely what I wanted to hear, but mostly what I always needed to hear. And again, it's just with you need to accept that that's the way to grow, through your mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Or through what you're not doing right, because you don't have what sometimes you might feel, the emotional space. You got a lot going on. You can't sort out your thoughts sometimes. So you miss things. It happens. But just understanding that it happens and then it's not the end
And
of the
then
world.
go on.
Go on, keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of people suffered some devastating loss that they can't come back from. At least I have no excuse to keep trying, right? And I never bring excuses to the team. I try my best to be the best for them, and I do miss some things. But at the end of the day, they trust that I have their best interest in mind. So it's always, all right, let's set different reminders, or it's like they don't need me to be sorry. They need me to be better.
Right.
It is what it is.
You are at the forefront of the helm.
Yeah. I mean,
You're pushing, you're driving the boat.
yeah, I mean, whatever it is these days.
Whatever
right?
it is.
Yeah. And it's an amazing group of people that, let their hands do the talking for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're just so capable, and it brings me so much delight to see people doing what they love, right? Or people find love in what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Let's talk about you've sat in meetings with franchise owners, restaurant owners, owners across the board. People won't simply reach out to these type of people because they think they're out of reach.
Yeah.
What do these conversations sound like when you talk to these people? Because I'm assuming, and this is just assuming, you get there, you get to know them, and then you go straight into business.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? How do these conversations, what do they sound like?
I have I mean, I guess this is the first time this goes out, right? I really don't talk to many people. I mean, they see the character on social media, but
Yeah.
that's entertainment. I know, or I feel like I know most of who's who, right? Or who's being impactful. I follow them, right? And the first big franchise owner actually started following Pineapple Ninjas. So I immediately followed back, and I'm like, hey, I have a few, I still have it on Instagram. This is the Jerry, I created ninjas, la, 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 la. I know who you are, and I'd like to ask you some questions on how I can, get better. And then from there, it's kind of like a lingo. And I know performance, customer service, and just passion, right? That alone draws them to you, because that's what got them to where they're at, right? And it's just like, people notice these things. They notice the people going the extra mile. They notice the people that bend over to pick up that random piece of trash. You know what I'm saying? So we make it standard practice, or we try our best to, right?
Yeah.
And, for the most part, I mean, there's a lot of sarcasm now because we're in a better place, right? They've seen my growth. They're supportive of it. And it's just like I tell them, the only thing I need from them is just advice, right? Because it does me no good for anybody to buy me anything, or to, just not let me earn it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like giving you a hand
I
out.
want to do business.
Yeah.
I do want to do business, but I want to earn it.
You're willing to put in the
I want to
work.
be the example for how you earn your way into doing business with someone you look up to, right? And I'm doing my best, right? And I think I've put them in a position where they're comfortable to win. They're comfortable to bet on me. I've been, I take care of myself as best as I can, so that they see that I'm not just punching in and punching out from work. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. And it's what fulfills me. I wish I could sleep less, because the world I'm in, with my eyes open, even though it has its obstacles, its challenges at times, it's a good life. You know what I'm saying? It's a good life. Our days are numbered.
Yeah.
And I think I'm extremely blessed to have walked the path that I've walked, to have had a formal, my formal education pay off in a sense of getting a job with it. You know what I'm saying? And then working in the entertainment industry, working with people that I willed myself, like when it came to Floyd, when it came to shaking Elong's hand and doing work over there at SpaceX. Everything is possible, but it takes you got to be able to counter it. It's like the impossible is only impossible as you don't want to work impossibly hard.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I couldn't put a number on that. In my head, everything's achievable, right? It's the due process that I sometimes miss. But I mean, my intentions are always, I learned that through having good intentions in the back end to create an experience that alone will last on its own. You will need
the experience.
The only energy you will need is to put it together, the initial investment. If you have the right intentions, the turnaround is there. That's the way the world works.
Yeah.
Period. That's the secret.
Yeah.
That's it.
Reciprocation. It'll come back to you.
And have a ton of faith. If you want the payback in cash tomorrow, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
You have, for me, I found satisfaction in, you know what? Hey man, it was a tough time 3 months ago when we couldn't get that permit, huh? Well, we're open and it's all good. We're open. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, But again, that's just because of certain things and lows that I feel that I went through where I had very little to give me enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Now, even an idea, I train myself, or I try to train myself to take myself out of those moments. You know what I'm saying? Some people talk, some work.
Yeah.
And I learned to vent through my work. When we did work with Floyd, I got to talk to him for about an hour and a half, right, in private, while we were ironing up all the business details, and his oversight on the way people are and the way things are is just beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Explain a little bit of his mentality.
It's almost like been there, done that. So much wisdom, right? It feels like you're talking to a character out of a movie that's just like 1,000 years old, very calm, and that's it. He knows what his duty is as an entertainer, and it's like in order to achieve an ultimate level of it, you have to give up a piece of yourself, right? And he knew what that piece was. And the vocabulary that he used to describe it, I feel, allowed me to understand how to find what that was in me, right? And, I make the sacrifice daily, if that makes any sense. And that was pretty much, that was one of the many things. And, never be a man ashamed to pick up a penny, those type of things, just to be very grateful, and very, very smart, understanding that people would pay to see him lose more than they would to see him win.
Wow.
But that's the game.
What's interesting is I've become a lot more gratuitous, gratitude. And I've noticed that there's a mentality change when you start being more grateful for things. Yeah. Like it's just, you have a different appreciation. And I can see it in you that you have a higher emotional intelligence than a lot of people. Where do you think that comes from?
It's just a hard knock life.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Why do you get up every single day and do what you do?
So that my kid won't have to.
That's why.
That's it.
Simple.
100%. I don't want them to go through anything that I went through.
But do you feel
they're not now? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be
pushover.
Nah, it ain't like that. It's just about, I wish I had someone to talk to me, right, about being a man or something. Not like that. Being a businessman, right? Yeah. In business, they're gonna. I learned we took the long route, and every business venture that we did, it was, whether it be me or me with partners, we were always real young, we were always reaching for something really high up the cookie shelf. Yeah. And sometimes we got that cookie and sometimes the jar would crash on us, but nonetheless, it was a thrill, right? But it's the process. But see, we're grateful now when so much could have happened then, right? So I'm very, gratitude, very, very happy that now I can look back at it and be like, you know what, let's have a talk. All right. Formal education is great. I did it. How do you feel and then just give them real life scenarios and just see how their normal thought process goes, and just, teach them through that just retraining and just conversing, communication. Yeah. I'm hoping to be my kids' mentors. You know what I'm saying? That's that. They're going to go out there and learn
the hard way.
They're going to make mistakes. Yeah. I mean, you can't take the fun of that. But one thing that I'm going to teach them is always have self-respect. Go and have fun, of course, but be a respectful person, be kind, right? Light up a room, right? Don't ever think that life can't change up on you in a split.
Yeah.
You can
You're
be
absolutely right.
nothing. And that sense of urgency is what I feel. It's always there. No matter what phone call I'm in, it doesn't take me long to really like be like, boom,
Yeah.
don't forget. And, they'll appreciate it because I'm teaching them to earn. You know what I'm saying? They can't have an iPhone.
Yeah.
They'll have one when they can buy one like I did. Why it built some character. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Right?
No, you're right.
They learn to write a letter. Let's go. Right. So, I understand my responsibility as a parent is going to be to create these environments around my kids, whatever the future brings.
Yeah.
I have a daughter right now. And, that's something that I learned by seeing the way that, celebrities would carry their lives around when I was there, right? Around me when we would do business, and I'd see how some of them were attached or some of them were detached to their family, and business too. You know what I'm saying? Just, you can't expect your partner to understand every move you make. That wouldn't make sense, right? That means you're not really unique. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not meant to be understood. It's just merely like more respected. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do what whoever I'm with is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to do that. Let's find something that brings us delight that we can share and talk about after work, because we know that we are the best at what we do. At least we try our best. So we're exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we keep it simple. That's the way. That's not the way. That's a way.
Anyway, one of the ways.
One of the ways. There's a bunch of things too, but I'm just trying to, again, don't take my advice. It's up to you. I'm just, like I said, communication skills just taught me to put a whole bunch of emotion into a small amount of words.
Yeah.
And get big understanding.
Yeah, no, I get it. The least amount of words with the most impact.
Yeah, and just chill.
Yeah. Let's talk about entrepreneur life. And I think both of us have had this, which are really high highs, really low lows. Like, for example, when we're doing the Queen Isabella Causeway stuff, we're creating a docuseries for it.
I've seen it.
We've been talking to Oprah Winfrey's cousin. Hopefully they can get onto Netflix in the future. But that seems to have fizzled out. But we're still not going to stop with what we were trying to achieve,
of course,
which is telling the truest story of the thing that happened, right? So those highs and really low lows, how do you deal with coming back to it, like getting out of it fast?
I mean, by now we've learned how to assess or troubleshoot a low, if that makes sense. There's lows, but there's always tells as to why. It's just now we know how to pay attention to them, document, plan. Back then, you're too much in the moment.
Yeah.
It's all emotional, really.
Yeah.
It's all in your head. Oh, all this stuff. You're geeking out. You're not thinking, right?
Yeah.
Again, it comes through just time and practice, right? Sometimes people say, well, you're going too fast. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll learn faster, right? That's what I'm trying to get the feedback. And back then, we would let it emotionally consume us rather than sit back and collect the facts, the data, right? And write down some plan of action.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you write down your goals, your plans, and then you have a roadmap.
That's now. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
Now. Yeah, but I mean, back then we were mavericks. I mean, we it's good. It's good. I think everybody's grown and done stuck to something that they're passionate about and it's taking care of them. And I'm glad to see everybody that I've worked with in my teens or played ball with in my 20s do amazing things.
Yeah.
It's good because I know it's not accidental. No matter the moments that we've had, good and bad, anybody doing something has to sacrifice, whether it be financially, emotionally. You know what I'm saying? There's no way around that.
Yeah, I think the saying is when you have time, you don't have money, and when you have money, you don't have time.
It's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. It's a mental thing, right? It's just about how you balance and budget yourself.
Yeah.
We pick and choose our battles. And that's it. You know, I don't really believe there'll ever be balance. There'll always be just when you're about to nap, that ding or something. But that's with life, you know?
Yeah, that's life.
And that's absolutely fine, because I think that keeps us on our toes. That keeps, that gives us purpose, you know, or it gives us you know, I guess the terrible thing would be to not, you know, wake up sometimes and feel that you have no purpose, right?
Yeah.
But it's a mindset, you know. Okay, you're waking up sad, and then what are you putting on your speakers? Are you putting some Linkin Park or something like Kurt Cobain? It's not helping. You know what I'm saying? It's not medicine for your mind, right? Put on a podcast over and over, and you will see eventually you will listen. You know what I'm saying?
And you're right, because like 7 years ago, when I was going through the process of I used to work at Dairy Queen with my father. I would sit on the couch and just listen to motivational series, just like for 3 years. And then one day I was like, shit, man, nothing's happening because I'm not doing shit.
You're just listening.
So then from there is when I started applying. And then when you apply that knowledge, that's when you start growing fast.
Yeah. And see, like with me, when I listen to the podcast, I'll either be working out or I'm driving somewhere. So I'm going somewhere or I'm doing something. I'm not.
Yeah, sitting.
You see what I'm saying? And it's even in the background of my office.
Yeah.
You know, I do have a couple of music videos that I like when I need to get in a certain kind of mood. But for the most part, I'd say that stuff that goes into my ears is and 80% podcast, 20%, 19% the putting out fires, and then 1% trap music.
Trap music. Well, that being said, we'll be right back with Jerry Leal.
Hey folks, there's a pandemic, an epidemic, and it's all across our country, and the RGV is a hot spot for it. I'm not talking about COVID, I am talking about bad credit. Don't let bad credit rob you of your dreams of a nice home, of a nice car. Don't let bad credit rob you of tens of thousands of dollars of high interest payments over your lifetime. Get it fixed. Give us a call, Beretta Credit Repair. We're right here in the RGV, 956-313-7957. Give us a call. You'll be glad you did.
All right, dude. So I want to talk about SpaceX. How the hell did you get into SpaceX?
We're just good at what we do. That's it.
You got to give me more than that, man.
That's really all I can say. Working there was a blessing. It came at the best time. I learned a lot, and more than anything, I learned how to apply myself to something bigger and work. Right? It was like a different type of work, not gym work, but you know, there was a lot of labor, a lot of planning, a lot of trade.
Yeah.
Working together.
Because they just don't let anybody into SpaceX.
I mean, I can't say that either.
There you go. You have a chance.
Man. Hey, man. Oh, man. No. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
It's its own thing. It helped put me onto a lot of things. Like I said, it taught me how to work. You know, the small amount of time I spent with Floyd taught me how to think. And then life filled in everything in between.
It's interesting how one moment can have that lasting effect on the rest of your life.
I was paying attention.
Yeah.
I was paying attention. And the anticipation for that moment, years, never a road, but always a destination. I always knew I wanted to get there. And I'm like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
What can I do? I'm not going to be in sports. I'm not going to, and now I know through food, I can get to anybody. Yeah. Anybody, you know.
Everybody eats food.
Everybody eats food. I got 3 chances to get you know. So you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
I got 3 shots, and now if I got 2 trucks, I got 6 shots.
I get you.
That's
man.
how that's the way we, you know. Again, we're around this 24/7, so we have so many food truck puns, or food truck plugins. Or whatever.
So why food trucks though? Why did you decide to go the route of a food truck versus a brick and mortar?
Oh, that's a good question. See, a brick and mortar requires a more. I guess I'll give you the English, right? Not. I'll make this short. Well, for starters. Square footage that you have to be responsible for in a restaurant. You know, for the most part, you can't fit a kitchen, prep area, storage, and an engine and a steering wheel anywhere altogether inside of a restaurant, that type of deal. So again, it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. You know what I'm saying? But what I loved and what I learned to invest myself in was that you can create, you have more control, right? As a business owner, and you're able to do your market research much more conveniently than having a restaurant. If you believe that San Antonio is a place for you to be, it's only a few bucks in gas to find out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, how much money would it cost McDonald's to do market research somewhere new?
Tons of money.
And we know these costs. You know what I'm saying? So this is perfect. And if it works, you just keep it there, and you're open.
That's interesting.
Overnight. That's it.
I never thought about that.
And there's people that are just very, very close to opening up a can of just brilliance to the world, right? That are just a small influence away from it. And I'm hoping that I've been that for some people, and they've done amazing. They've exceeded expectations. They're on to bigger and better things, right? And that's why, I people who are passionate about this stuff make their way to us in some way, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be to do business. It can be just to have a conversation, or there's a question. I want people to be able to count on us for some direction.
Yeah.
I mean, at least to the best of our applied experience, right? I'll give you as much as I can. Can't be on the phone with you for hours.
Right.
We do consulting in case that's something. So, we do our best, unless it's another level of service where they really need us to do it for them, then that's a service that we do offer.
Okay.
So, but in the event of something not going good in business, you're able to walk away with different types of scabs than a brick and mortar. Whereas here, I can sell you the keys right here and here's some paperwork. Whereas with a brick and mortar, the formalities to terminate a lease or to, it just goes on and on and on and on.
Interesting.
And to change the identity, sorry to cut you off, to change the identity of a restaurant, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. I mean, I don't know, and I don't want to know anymore, right?
Yeah.
I'm not up to date. Don't want to be anytime soon. And for a food truck to change its identity, it's probably like $2,000-$3,000 in wrapping and some signage outside, and that's it. And you have a new business because the kitchen's pretty much.
That's where you create.
Yeah, it's they're all pretty standard for the most part. They all have, except for our higher branded trucks that need special type of shelving or certain things.
Yeah.
Okay, Pineapple Ninjas needs a lot of things. It's very different than any food truck, right? Aside from that truck, every truck's pretty much the same. It has its standard burners. You have your grill, space for some countertop appliances as well, whether it be blenders, rice cookers, whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So talking about the food truck part, I want to talk about the branding part, the branding, the marketing, the advertising. Yeah. Touch on that because you've done a really good job with all your brands.
Thank you. So that came from working with celebrities during the phase of my life when I was doing concerts and working in entertainment. These people were obviously catered to, right? We needed to find something that would delight them to the best of our availability here in our market, right? So we were always trying to find something exciting. We were reading up on interesting experiences, right? Trying to find holes in the walls type of deal that would be quality representations of our market, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt sometimes that we lacked substance, sometimes. And then I just, little by little, gained the motivation to say, well, let me put something together and see how it does. And I'm not saying it's the best thing, but it's something, right? It's doing okay. It gives people delight. We have a lot of room to grow, but that's what it is. We're excited to get there, and we're excited to keep learning. We don't get offended with criticism. We bring it upon ourselves to see how we contributed to that experience they didn't like, because ultimately we're the ones that are in control. At first, you might have that customer, but you can't have the mindset that, well, it's just that customer. You can't. That's not good practice. We acknowledge it, but we just let it be that moment, and then we go and find it within ourselves. How can we get better?
Yeah.
Even if there's nothing, you can always find something new.
Yeah. So going into that more deeper, the reviews like on restaurants and stuff like that, how do you manage those? How do you deal with somebody talking crap about your brand and stuff like that?
Well, funny story is, I mean, all our brands are really strong on like Facebook and stuff, but we didn't know much about the Google. So we just got access to our Ninja's account.
Google's a whole nother monster.
Man, we didn't maintenance that. And I checked it out and we had like 3 stars out of 5. It was terrible. So I took that personal, and I'm like, and I looked at the reviews and they were like from way back then. There was really no point in responding to them. I did respond to some though, like some that were like, really, come on, you know?
Yeah.
But then we just, posted it on our Facebook and, hey guys, we're active again on Google. Go get us back on track. And we're up to a couple hundred of reviews now. And we have like 4.5 stars now. So we're good now, more representative of where we're at now. More fairly representative. Fairly. Yeah. Cause I mean, you can always have that bad experience. Things happen, right? Yeah. We're not going to bet 1,000 and we understand that, but having the enthusiasm to want to is good.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we just deal with it. I mean, everybody else does.
Yeah.
It's like you can't, you can get strung out about it. And it's like, I tell my team and we train them. It's like, when you see people talking bad about you, look at the way competition or people doing the same thing you're doing in your industry handle it. It's like about a 2-hour talk between the customer that hated it there, probably never coming back.
Yeah.
And they're ignoring the other
Can't
20. And
you're right.
I'm like, come on, man. And I said, I mean, I only had to see it a couple of times before we bring it to everyone's attention. And we're like, oh, because you have your moments of something travel on. But again, I've seen it, been there, done that. So I'm like, hey, look, this is how you catch yourself. And that's it. And now we let it be. And that's it. We just keep doing our thing.
Yeah.
We'll let each other know when we're really, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but there's some feedback there that's really good, that really does help us with speed, with flavor, with portioning. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we're going too fast and miss some things. And it's good for them to tell us so that we set better reminders. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But, when they're giving us something baseless, like, well, not baseless, but it's too expensive. How much do you think it costs us to make it?
Yeah. There's a point of profit. We have to make profit.
It's a business. Yeah. I mean, but we already know that's not it's not a discussion that to win. There's nothing there, right? Yeah. There's a McDonald's a block down, like not even a block down the road from us. They got affordable food.
Yeah.
You chose to stop here.
Yeah, you're right.
We're way smaller, so we obviously got your attention somehow. I mean, but again, these are the things that just come with what we do and with the type of foods that we serve. But yeah, more than anything, I love the food trucking. It gives the people an experience to explore their creativity outside of the market, be in control. Expenses wise as well, when it comes to the standard practice of renting, you get like a full, it's like, it'll be like $1,000 and it includes trash, water, rent. Whereas when you have a brick and mortar, you have the variable of this, that, and that doesn't, I didn't like that when I had that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Huh. So here the costs are more manageable.
Yes, they are.
Awesome. So the digital marketer in me cannot stop with the Google My Business. I think it's one of the most underrated tools that nobody uses because it's like a Facebook or Instagram where you can post your pictures, your videos, correct, and there's a ton of people that are going to it every single day. Like with some of my clients, we're getting thousands of views per day just by posting pictures.
Yep.
And it's free.
Yeah.
No advertising like Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. So I just wanted to say that.
Now I want to show you this. So
let's see it.
I mean, I think this is pretty good.
And the cool thing is you can manage it through your phone. So, yeah, dude, it's awesome. I mean, there's so many people that are
30,000 people have searched us on Maps.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's a food truck.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's crazy.
And anybody.
And it's on Google.
Business,
I've been missing this for 3 years.
Yeah,
so this is
crazy,
this is
dude.
3 weeks of report. So I felt terrible. I felt bad. And I mean, I was putting on my socials. I'm like, help.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that people saw the expressions on my face enough to take it like, yo, let me check my Google.
Yeah.
My thing was giving them the wrong dates and stuff. It was bad. So I know I missed out on opportunities for sure. There's no doubt in my mind that I was probably out there promoting ourselves as the world's best thing. And then they Googled us and were like, yeah, what? Get out. Yeah, I'm not even lying. I'm 100% sure. And I hope if they watch this, they apologize and give us a second shot. I promise we're better. But yeah, I felt like we were handling as much as we could though at the time. So,
well, that being said too, if you want to go a step further with Google My Business, open up a YouTube page, because you can do YouTube SEO. Google owns YouTube. They all talk together. They talk to your website. YouTube SEO is probably one of the coolest things in the world, because they talk with everything, dude. Like your views will just start skyrocketing just by them talking to each other. Nice. The more crap you have out there, obviously, the better it is for you.
And see, I put up a video of just somebody picking up a pineapple bowl I went to the beach for some business, and somebody was getting a bowl. I like to eat at my spots, obviously, right? And I just went on live, like 30-second video maybe, and it's at about 100,000 views in a week. That's crazy. It's nuts. And then I put a video of myself this weekend cutting a pineapple. It's like at 5,000 views. And I'm like, man, that's nuts. I was like, I need to give him more, you know? But yeah, you got to put things out there. That's
the nature of the game right now.
It's the game. Yeah. So you can't complain your way into getting things done. Yeah. Right. Because at the end of the day, the people that are at the table need something. They need material. Yeah. You know, they need that substance. Where is it at? What do you actually got? Besides a cool conversation that these OGs already heard. Yeah. Been there, done that.
They're not interested.
They don't care about the storyline. Yeah. They don't care about the narratives. They don't care about who's bickering. Yeah. Where are we at? Yeah. And that's what I got used to at the island. All these serious businessmen, you know, expecting these type of this knowledge or this know about what I'm trying to, hey, I want to do business here. Okay, well, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, whoa, right? I was unprepared. But I sat and I asked questions, and now I feel, I mean, obviously we've grown better because I went through those situations, but more often than not, it was very discouraging to feel so little in the game when confidence wasn't what makes it up. It's just experience and then being open-minded through it all, not being distracted. Because we all went to school, spent the same amount of time, but why is there a valedictorian? He paid more attention, put in more work. That's why. It's the same thing in work. You know, it's not about, well, I spend a ton of time in my truck. What are you doing? I mean, if I'm in my truck, I got a podcast in the background because I'm thinking just more. Yeah. You know, I'm not thinking how hard it is, or I'm not satisfied in, well, I got the job done. Job's not over. It's never over.
It's never over.
It's never over. You know, you don't want it to be, right? Yeah.
You want to work. For me, I want to work as long as I possibly can. Yeah, doing the best work possible.
Yeah, the crazy story is, you know, you'll hear people say, I want to die doing what I love, man. Yeah. I've been electrocuted a couple of times in my truck, cut, and I'm like, come close, man. It's been crazy. Man, so I'm just like, don't say that too often.
Don't say it too often.
Don't say that.
You'll bring it upon yourself.
Yeah. And it's not too funny after you think about how it could have been. I'm like, man, they would have found me fried. Yeah. Air fried Jerry at its trucks. How ironic. And you don't want to go down like that. So.
But I remember talking to you a while back, and you said dress for the job that you want. And you're always in sandals, shorts. Yeah. And that's what I love about you, dude, is because I took that away from you too, is because I'll go to meetings now and I'll go in sandals and shorts, and I want to be comfortable. You know, I want to have that conversation as a real person with the real business owner. Because before, when I would jump into meetings, it was kind of like, okay, let's go through the pitch. You have this certain facade that you have. Mm-hmm. Now it's a conversation like I'm having with you now. We're just chatting.
And it's kind of like, well, now, when you know, we're having a meeting or we're set up a meeting, they already pretty much did their research and who I am and what I do. So I think them not seeing me in sandals would freak them out. Yeah, if I come in a suit, I'm like, what? But I mean, obviously, you got to be respectful sometimes. But for the most part, you kind of know how to gauge that. And you know, I feel, at least in my head, I tell myself, man, you went hard in your 20s. You know, you got to take some weight off your feet. So wear some sandals. And I mean, I believe a lot in decision fatigue. So I don't take too much time to think about what I'm gonna wear. I got nice shoes. I got cool shoes. Sometimes, you know, if you see me in shoes, they're probably cool shoes. But it takes me about 2 minutes
to figure out what you're
or maybe more. And I just, like, again, I listen to people who are out there making a difference, and they don't think too much about what they wear. You know, like, that's it. I have my branded shirts that I love, and that's it. I mean, It's not much thinking unless it's like a special occasion. Then that thinking of what you're gonna wear is part of the buildup, so it's okay, right? But you know, for the most part, again, respectful always, right? But speaks to my character, right? That's that. I don't want to be too loud, but dang, like, you know,
Hey, isn't that shit?
if you didn't know, I kind of have a thing for pineapples.
So before we finish off the podcast, I'm going to thank our sponsors real quick, but I want you to start thinking about the number one piece of advice that you can give any entrepreneur or anybody that's starting to come up in the entrepreneurial world, how they can achieve success, whatever that means to them. So we'll be right back.
It's a wonderful experience. It's a great collaborative environment for all of us, and it's all around a great festival.
Incredible. I really had a blast. The films were great. The filmmakers were well celebrated. But more than anything, the city of Edinburgh really came out and threw down for this festival.
Most of all, the hospitality of the hosts was fantastic. We were taken care of wonderfully.
We had an amazing array of filmmakers that came, actors. It was an extraordinary year.
Thank you, City of Edinburgh, for having us. I look forward to kicking it again.
Get involved. It's the South Texas International Film Festival.
All right. So, Jerry, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy.
Yeah, no, I mean, we love what we do. We love talking to people, and this is definitely a way to reach more people, and hopefully they reach out to us if they want to try to do something, or if not, just use it as part of their, platform or just knowledge.
Yeah.
Or not use it at all. Whatever you want, it's there.
It's here. And it's knowledge for you to use. What you do with it is up to you.
It's up to you.
But
we already got you to listen this far in, so thank you.
Before we finish off the podcast, I want you to give the number one piece of insight, advice to my audience.
Yeah, I mean, different circumstances, I guess, will get different advice, right? But given what we've been talking about for the most part is, speaking to the common person, we all want to achieve some sort of emotional and financial freedom, right? But we need to come to terms that it's going to take work. It has to take work. If somebody from our family didn't put in some sort of sacrifice early, or maybe not family, or, if you didn't hit some stroke of luck, the exchange for that freedom is sacrifice, work, emotional. It just is what it is. And if you don't do it, your kids are going to grow up and they're going to have big dreams. And you need to understand that they're going to suffer to make it happen. Do you how much do you want that suffering to be? Because there was times that my parents were seeing me go through something that was like, man, we missed out on a big opportunity because of something. And that's it. But now we don't have to, right? Yeah. And you can do that for your kids now. You know what I'm saying? Where you might see the mistake, but you're confident that how much is college? 6 figures. Yeah. You give a kid who you've invested time into, good character, they don't need 6 figures, They go out there and work with the confidence that it's there, and they'll make something happen with $600. Yeah. They'll make something happen. But it's all about communication, just like you say, to get things done, to promote the mindset for your generations or for your kids. It's also a training también. You got to practice it at home in certain things. I wake up early as I'm noisy. Yeah. Noisy, super noisy. I'm like, how do y'all sleep so well? Where y'all making money? Y'all making money I ain't seen? What's going on? How do you sleep so good? I'm loud. I'm loud. But when I get like sick or something, I'm real quiet. It's funny. Like I got a headache or migraine. I'm like, oh man, quiet. Now they loud and stuff. So, but it's good. That's the way I am now. Back then it wasn't like that, right? But I feel like I feel healthy. I feel great. So just be very thankful. I have a lot of faith. That, God's kept me here to, be an aspiring piece of the puzzle for someone. And, there's always somebody doing bigger things. Yeah. But we can't always relate to that type of person. So to anybody that can relate with me, I'm here to help. And again, you can always get lucky. But you get lucky, like Pitbull says, you get the harder you work, the luckier you get. So, the best thing that can happen is if you hit that lick, you have the discipline because you were already putting in the work. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh man, if I had this earlier. No, man. The patience and the wisdom that you have right now came from that delayed blessing.
Yeah. And take advantage of opportunities. I think that's one of the things that people won't do is like the opportunity to come and they'll get struck by like their internal debate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to do it. I'm not going to give it my best or something. I mean, don't be afraid of taking opportunity because it'll open the doors.
Yeah. You have, and I mean, being afraid is part of it, because it's new. It'd be crazy to be so comfortable in something you've never done.
Exactly.
That's not rational, right?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But then again, practice that it shouldn't be something that's not scary and you'll be fine. You handle it with grace. You go in there and you just, you're an open mind and you get better.
Yeah.
And practice taking rejection so that when you get that yes, you know that you're fulfilling something that they needed. Inevitably, when you get that yes is because you're feeling a need, right? You said the words that filled that gap of that problem that they had that needed some work, right? And, give them the peace of mind that you'd want if you were them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, just work hard. And it doesn't mean, go and just dig holes and just be tired at the end of the day. Find purpose and something good things happen, right? At least I believe I do. At least I believe they do. And I hope that people do as well. So, again, it's not always going to be good, but then again, just have faith. And just take it in stride in a sense that it's part of it's part of what's going to keep building your character to be wiser, be kinder, and more generous.
It's part of the process, man. The process is always fun for me.
It's a real thing, man.
Yeah. So with that being said, Jerry, Leal, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
It was fun.
We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey folks, there's a pandemic, there's an epidemic, and it's sweeping across the country, and the RGV is a hotspot, and it's not COVID, it's bad credit. Bad credit can rob you of a lifetime of high interest payments, tens of thousands of dollars. It can rob you from getting that dream home or that beautiful car that you've always wanted. Don't let bad credit do that to you. Give us a call, Beretta Credit Repair. The number's on the screen. Give us a call. We're right here in the RGV. You'll be glad you did.